Stones of Strength, episode 18. We are joined by none other than New England Stonelifting's Jarrett McPhee. Jarrett, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I've been looking forward to talking to you guys for quite a long time.
I'm glad to have you, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump in with your origin story. When did Jarrett McPhee, the human being, turn into Jarrett McPhee, the stonelifting enthusiast?
So, for my 40th birthday, I set myself a goal to lift stones, lift historic stones. Um, I had wanted to do Highland Games, but in my area, you can't really do Highland Games without having done a Highland Games before, so it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. So I went and was like, "What's proto Highland Games? It's stone lifting."
Yeah.
So I got Martin Jancis's book, Martin and Bill's book, Stone Lifting, and sort of started finding historic stones. I went to Scotland in November of 2019, and the first stone I hit was the Inverstone. I actually got to lift it at June's cottage. I got to meet her. I got to sign the book. It was super, super cool. And I have I've never felt as much anxiety doing something as I did walking up to the door and and knocking on it to be like, can I lift your stone? And,
Can you? That's the question. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I ended up getting it to chest 4 times and missing it shoulder like every single time. It was it was just a little outside my reach, but I'm looking forward to going back to Scotland and trying it again because I definitely think that I can get to shoulder this time.
I'd imagine
So
so.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a pretty difficult stone to start with for your first goal at a historical stone. Anyone who's listened to episode 17 with Andy Crawford, who is an absolute stone lifting and shouldering machine, that was the first stone that he lifted and ended up actually hurting himself. I mean, it's akin to an atlas stone. If you're not really careful, you can quite easily hurt your bicep. So
It's also smooth, but also so sharp, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
I left some
Yeah.
blood and skin on that one. So yeah,
Yeah, it's the progenitor of Atlas stones. It's
yeah.
what Atlas stones are based off of. So if you've lifted an Atlas stone, you can obviously tell what the Inverstone is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky for sure. What other stones did he hit
Yeah.
on that trip?
Um, so I only got to hit 2 other stones on that trip. I searched for like 7 of them, but because of when I went, it was like 2019, so we didn't really have a lot of GPS coordinate stuff online. I was literally using Martin's book. Um, and it was like, go to this place and go do this thing. So there were a bunch of stuff that I went to and I just missed. Like, I went to the old Barravin Church, but I didn't go to the old Barravin Church. Like I went so and it was like 3:30 in the evening and it was getting dark. And I was like, God damn it. I'm not gonna be able to get this stone because we had a trip planned where we went from Glasgow to Inverness, then all the way up to Thurso, then up to Orkney, then all the way back down and just hit stuff along the way. So I eventually ended up getting the Newton Moore Coffin Stone as well, and Dalwhinnie Stone
Okay. So
on
You've
that
got
trip.
unfinished
Yeah,
business then in Scotland.
I have quite a bit of unfinished business in Scotland. There's a lot of stones that I want to go hit there again.
Yeah. When is that trip happening?
Who knows?
Sometime soon.
I
some
Yeah.
point.
No. That's,
Yeah, at some point in the future. My wife Emily and I, the way that we've been doing trips for like the past, I guess, 7 years now, is we'll find a place we want to go to, and I'll map out all the stones that I want to hit, and then she'll map out all of the like old trees she wants to see. Then we'll put like Neolithic sites on it. Then we'll put a bunch of other stuff on it, and then we'll sort of like distill it down into a trip and see what things we can hit in a limited amount of time.
She'll love the
We
Fiona
usually end
stone,
up,
but she likes old trees.
Yeah.
That doesn't get
yeah,
discussed much. There's a tree that's right next to it that is just enormous and ancient. And it's actually, I took pictures, it's actually picked up stones in the tree. Like there's stones lodged into the tree.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And it's kind of detracted to from because the stone's there, but the tree itself is It's absolutely incredible.
I believe you had made the remarkable dad joke that even the tree lifts stones.
Yeah, it said something dumb like that. I'm sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, like it. I cannot wait. I want to go back. I want to hit Fianna. I want to hit Collinsy Stone. I still have to hit the Denny Stones. I've got like all the big hits. It was just such an early trip in my stone lifting career that I couldn't really fathom that I would still be doing it 9 years later. You know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
But
and so like when you first started training to go to Scotland, was it at that time when you realized that this was something that 9 years later you would still be doing, or has that sort of love with stone lifting evolved over time?
honestly, as soon as I started lifting stones, I knew that it was something that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I honestly never thought it would become New England Stonelifting. I never thought that we would be doing setting stones here in America. Like, I always thought that it was a cool thing that I could do on a trip. It was a good way to frame up a trip and just sort of mix our passions, like the outdoors, hiking, strength, all of that stuff, the history aspect of it, all of that stuff. It's definitely grown. It's definitely grown over the years. And I'm incredibly honored that, like, I started off using a book written by two dudes. And last year I got to run a games with them. Like,
Yeah.
like
So cool.
it's such a cool arc. I'm super excited about where it's gone.
Back in 2017, I mean, obviously not the early days of stone lifting, because that would have been like 2017 BC. But
Yeah.
could you have ever fathomed then, when I'm guessing at that point it was a pretty solitary endeavor for you, that it would have grown not only within your local community, which a lot of that has been due to your efforts, but internationally to this? What would, I mean, it's still a very niche activity, but there are a lot of people across the world that are very, very, very psyched about stone lifting.
Yeah, there definitely are. When I started, it was actually myself and my training partner Steve Sharp, who also started New England Stonelifting with me. He had done stonelifting years prior in like strongman events and stuff. So when I started, I wasn't even solitary then. Like, it was just us messing around in the gym trying to figure things out. But man, it has grown so big so quick. It really feels like it's on the precipice of something.
Yeah.
What with David rediscovering all the stones in Ireland, what with like Martin and everybody else over there in Scotland, like the Icelandic stones, just everything, the Basque stones, the Japanese stones, everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think that people love it so much because it's so low barrier of entry.
Well, it just strikes a chord with so many people. Like, I'm curious if you've had the same as we have, because we've introduced so many people to stone lifting, and it isn't for everyone. You see some people go, yeah, that's a heavy object, but the vast majority of people that at least I've introduced it to, they pick up a stone and something inside of them clicks. And it's just, they what does David Keown say? It's the bones of man versus the bones of the earth, and you can feel it in your DNA or something like that. And for so many people, you can see it. They get it up, they put it down, and just a light goes on.
There's like an awakening.
It's not like their first deadlift or their first bench press or their first curl.
Yeah.
This is a different thing, and you can just see it in their expression after they've done it.
Yeah, there's something intrinsic and primal about it. We were lucky enough to have been invited to a residence school up in New Hampshire a couple months ago, and we just actually went up last week to teach a bunch of kids how to do stone lifting. Like, I brought a couple of the stone lifters from Nestle, and we went up, gave like a speech to everybody. Everybody was so locked in. And at the beginning, I was like, how many of you want to try this stone lifting thing? And like 5 or 6 hands shot up out of like 20 people. And then by the time the 5th person was done lifting, there was a line. Like, everybody just lined up and started going at it. And by the end of it, the teachers had joined in, everybody had joined in, and every single person there was just so excited. It was one of the most satisfying things I've done in a long time, honestly.
I mean, the New England Stonelifting saying epitomizes it perfectly. Like stones are for everyone, and I think part of that is, like you said, there's no barrier to entry. There's no sign up form, registration fees, equipment. But at the same time, too, if you're fortunate enough to live in an area where liftable stones are prevalent, you can find ones that are suitable for children all the way up to the most experienced lifters. There's going to be a challenge available for somebody. So
Totally. We just finished our New England Stone tour too, the first one, and one of the learnings we took out of it was that we need more lighter weight stones set with the heavier stones, so everybody when they go to these places can lift stones. I'm glad we got that learning because it means we're paying attention, and it means we're actually trying to live up to the things that we're saying.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going back out and finding a bunch more stones to put with our existing stones.
It's interesting you say that because that's something that I felt evolved with our Edmonton Stones of Strength here. Is like the vision at the start when we started it a few years ago was for people that didn't have the opportunity to travel around the world and test their strength on these world-class feats of strength. We wanted to bring world-class feats of strength here. And that was the initial goal, right? Is to be able to have people test their mettle here in Edmonton of equivalent difficulty to stones around the world. But it has absolutely evolved to stones of all levels for all people, and just exactly what you're talking about, giving everybody the opportunity to try stone lifting. And when we have our northern gathering, we do it once a year. There's zero competition between anyone. There's no winner, there's no losers. There's stones of a variety of different weights, and everybody just does the best they can to their ability with the stones that we have. And I think that that's been just a huge part of the cultural development here with it. And it sounds like that's similar to what you're experiencing on the East Coast.
Yeah, I fucking love that, man. Like the fact that we don't really have the culture over here of stone lifting, and we're all collectively creating it, and we're all thinking about the fact that we want it accessible to everybody is such a testament to the community. It's so rad. Like I'm honestly honored to be part of it and be somebody who has the opportunity to go out and like help influence this culture. It's like if we weren't doing it, somebody else would be doing it, and they might not be as conscious of it. So I yeah, it's great, man. It's just fantastic.
I mean, to give yourself more credit than I'll give you more credit than you're giving yourself. You're not just a part of it, right? You are someone who started New England Stonelifting, and it's a group that's rapidly involved to encompass. Well, you have dozens of stones, dozens of lifters. You just wrapped up your first full New England Stonelifting tour, and a lot of it, I mean, there's the sense of community, but you guys also do a really, really great job of conveying how fun and interesting and exciting stonelifting is through the social media stuff that you curate as well, right? Like I remember one time, and it just clicked for me when you were saying, you were kind of trying to replicate when you'd flip through an old skateboarding magazine with the stylization and stuff like that, and it comes across, and it's awesome. But can you maybe talk us through how it did go from just you and your training partner to this burgeoning stonelifting community? Like, what was that like? How did you start it?
So after Scotland, I ended up going to Iceland, and I lifted a bunch of stones in Iceland. And then I went back again. This was during COVID. When I went to Iceland, it was September of 21, and I fooled around with Husafell. I lifted the Dritvik stones. I lifted the England stones that Sean Urquhart put me onto. I lifted the Legstein stone as well. And on that tour, on that trip, it was another trip with my wife. So we did a whole bunch of driving. We were trying to do the West Fjords, but got stuck in a blizzard. A bunch
A
of
lot
other
of trees
stuff.
to see in Iceland, though.
Yeah,
It's fair for
but
her.
there's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
She was completely excited because like I'd be like, whoa, look at that beautiful thing over there, and by the time she'd look at it, it would be a different beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't trees, but it was mountains, and it was landscape, and it was gorgeous.
Fair.
And while we were there, I was like, oh, Magnus for Magnuson's doing his first Magnus Classic. I would really like to go to that. And M goes, well, ask Steve to go. It's in 2 months. Just come back. It's cheap right now because it was COVID.
Right.
So we flew back out in November and followed like everybody around. We went to every single one of the events, and people were like, "Oh, are you guys here for the strongman event?" And we're like, "Yeah, we are." They're like, "Are you competing?" And we're like, "Hell no, we're not anywhere near that level." But we were kind of the only people watching it in person. It was
The
like,
only fans.
yeah, I was
On
the
a
only.
hunch.
We were the Stonely fans. Yeah,
That's right.
100%. And by the time we got to Husfeld at the end, they were all like, "Hey guys, how's it going? What's up?" And
Yeah.
they were like, "You gotta try Husafel?" And we're like, "Yeah, after the event." And they're like, "No, you gotta do it now, so they know that it can be done," because a lot of the strongmen hadn't done Husafel before.
Put you on the spot a little
So they kind of did, but we're like, "Yeah, we'll wait."
bit.
So everybody got done lifting, and I was like, can I lift this now? Can I try this now?" And they're like, yeah, go right ahead. And Magnus is like talking to a whole bunch of strongmen and stuff. And you hear him in the background of the video I've got being like, "Oh, everybody, when they come to Husaville, they can't wait to put their hands on it. It's really funny to watch people try and lift it." And I just stood up with it and took a couple steps, and the entire crowd just burst out laughing.
That's awesome.
and,
That's amazing.
and he takes a step back and like he's like, "Yeah, good lift." I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
How did you
So
find
like,
the pick? Because we're prepping. Obviously, we're just over 2 months out from our trip, and yeah, it's looming for sure. How did you find the pick of the Hoos?
um, that was so like I lifted it in September and did horribly, and then just trained a whole bunch of squat mornings
Mhm.
for the next 3 months, and literally just picked it up off the ground.
Okay.
You probably shouldn't do that if you're trying to walk with it, because I was not in the position to walk. But my goal at that time was truly just to get it off the ground. Like I wasn't really worried about getting full sturker. I just wanted to lift the damn thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
But like, if you get in the right position, it just comes up. Like, and if you're strong enough, which obviously you guys are strong enough. Like,
So I guess
We'll
we'll
find
see.
out. We will find out.
I've seen the stuff that you guys do. I believe you're probably strong enough.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see the videos of you guys out there. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
But so we came back from Iceland, and one of our friends, Josh McIntosh from No Fame Games, was like, "Dude, you guys really need to like make this yours, like make New England Stonelifting a thing, because somebody else will do it and you're not going to like what they do." And I was like, "All right, I get you're right. I guess I should do this." So we just sort of codified it then, and we've just kind of been going since then. Like it was literally just somebody saying you should do this, and we were like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably true.
And what year was that in?
22, I think, the end of 22.
And now you're on the cover of Maximum Iron Stonelifting magazine.
Yeah.
Voted by the community. Like, how cool is that, man?
Dude, it is a testament to the fact that we are a collective.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, man,
Like,
that's awesome.
we're like, we went up against some of the biggest stone lifters in the world, and we basically punched above our weight. Like, no single one of us could have beat any one of those people. But because we're truly coming at it as a community and a collective, we had the ability to leverage literally everybody's social networks and win the cover.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome. It looks so cool. I've got it back here somewhere. But man, it is so rad. And now Maximum Iron's going to do an article with us for issue 5 about the Stone Tour.
Sweet.
And
So cool.
I think that too just kind of points to the fact that it exemplifies that what people find important in stone lifting is not always just who's the biggest, who's the strongest, who's the most capable lifter. It is the fact that a lot of us, it has become our community. A lot of us that are, I don't want to say later in life, but we're hitting our middle ages. We're not playing organized sports. We have families and we have careers. This is something that has given us not only a purpose for our training, but it's our social hang too, is when we go down and we lift stones with people. And I think it shows that that's not just important to us. It's not like it's a unique thing that we have found that to be meaningful. You guys have found that to be meaningful. It's meaningful down in Utah. It's meaningful. It's meaningful all over the world. And I think that that's just representative of that.
Oh, 100%. Like there's people that I never thought that I would have access to or be able to talk to or any connection with, that are people that hit up the New England Stonelifting page on the regular. And it's insane. It's completely insane that I now have friends all over the world that are all interested in stonelifting.
Yeah. Shout out to Tom Haviland. I mean, he likes our posts all the time. I'm like, you have no business like watching what we're doing. You're over there being a freaking mutant.
He's ordered one of our shirts.
Yeah, seriously.
All the way across the world to to Australia. It's crazy. Tom had I don't know how they had enough fabric to make one for him.
They just
sent the pattern in and they made it.
The sail from a ship.
they sewed 3 2XLs together.
Yeah, man. It's all big.
But it just shows you, like, people find this to be cool. And I think people appreciate the fact that a lot of us are getting back to our roots with lifting. Alyssa Aegis had done the Globe and Mail article that featured Edmonton Stones of Strength, but one of the things that she articulated beautifully was that we live in a world of fitness influencers that are trying to sell shortcuts to strength, shortcuts to fitness. This is something where you really have to come at it and understand that if you haven't lifted a stone before, you may be able to deadlift 800 pounds, but you're a beginner at stonelifting. It is a totally different thing. So you have to be humble and appreciative of the process, because there are very few people that are just going to walk in and rip a massive stone off the ground. It does happen. But I was well coached. But for most people, you got to start. You got to start at the very beginning. This is not something that you're going to, within a year, you're going to become a masterful stone lifter.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I'd even say that, like, every stone that you approach, you're a beginner at, because none of them are the same. None of them, it's all a different puzzle. Like you get better at reading the puzzle, definitely, but you're not necessarily going to get it. Like there's stones that I've been working on for a long time that I still am puzzled by, like, I still haven't got a lot of the stones around here to shoulder.
I mentioned earlier, most people light up when they do stones.
Yeah.
People that I have seen not light up do stones, they came in with high expectations. There's 2 in particular that I'm thinking of, and they came in because of their past experience, which is fair enough. They thought they were going to walk all over it and it was going to be a thing they could do, and it wasn't a thing they could do, and haven't seen them since. Right.
And I think they don't do now, right?
They didn't. They came in and thought all of their previous work could carry over, and for some people it did. I think for both of us, it's fair to say that our past strength endeavors were favorable to stone lifting, but I've seen people who have a very high level of strength endeavors previous to stone lifting, and it didn't work for them. So it's just so individual, and you just got to be humble. Like you said, with every stone, stones aren't necessarily about the weight, as we all know, right? It's about that puzzle. It's about reading the stone. If you don't know how to read the stone, you are not going to lift a stone. I mean, Gronk's strength will probably carry you into the low 300s, but even some of the strongest guys out there, if you don't know how to read the stone, something at 300 is going to be your cap.
Yeah. Stones truly don't care about you.
Yeah.
They're just there to stay on the ground. Like you're yeah. They can be huge assholes. Yeah, that is definitely true.
So with your community, do you find that, like, we're talking about how you have to be humble, and really, if you have an ego, stones as an activity becomes quite self-regulating because you're not going to enjoy doing it. Therefore, you're not going to look to become a part of the community. Do you find that maybe it's the practice of stone lifting that has helped build a community of like-minded and wonderful people, or is it the way that you've presented New England stonelifting with your message of inclusivity, or have you had to talk to some people and be like, listen, man, you got to adjust your attitude, or else this is not something that we'd encourage you to come back and do with us?
it's a little bit of all those things. I truly believe that stones are for everyone. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, how you self-identify, like where you come from, or any other thing like that. Like, stones are just out there in the world. They're yours. Like, come and lift them. If you're cool and you're respectful and humble and inclusive, you've definitely got a place with us. But if you respond to things that we're posting with things like racial slurs and legitimate hate speech, you're getting immediately kicked and banned.
You've
I
had
actually,
that?
oh yeah,
What?
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember the
yeah. I
scenario.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, like what? That's
yeah, we found out that there was a dude who was like a legitimate like self-described neo-Nazi white supremacist who had started following a whole bunch of the stonelifting community, and
I think I know
we
who
all
you're
followed him
talking
back.
about. I
Yeah,
think
and
this.
we all followed him back without knowing about it.
Yeah, I think I know exactly who you're talking about. Okay, enough said. This is clicking now. I've had conversations.
Yeah,
It's the same guy. I've had conversations with him. Then saw some of the stuff he was posting and went, "No, thank you. You're not my people,
yeah,
man."
Yeah.
yeah. No, and I was like, that it's immediate no. Like, just that has absolutely no place. Um, but if people are inquisitive and are willing to learn, I'm happy to have conversations with people, just like everybody else in New England Stonelifting is. Um, I think we've done a really really good job as a community fostering that inclusivity, and I I want to see it continue. I don't know. It's not me. It's all of us doing the same stuff and having the same message. Um, you know, I I I want anybody who is interested to come and talk to us.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk to you actually about your process of actually finding the stones because I have put I don't know, man. I don't know how many, like, countless hours, and I've easily dug up and weighed over 100 stones in our river valley. And you pick some of the best ones. You find them a good location. Now, our where we are, we don't exactly have a circuit. We have
Yep.
a few different plots all in one area, which is great because we can go from site to site to site, and we have access in the actual ones that are set up. We probably have about close to 50 that are all weighed and accessible, but there's easily over 50 in the bush that I've dug up and went, no, these are not quite the right ones. We have one close to this weight, close to the shape, and so on and so forth. So, what has your process been in finding stones, locating them? Like, actually, do you move them to a different location? Are they all local to where you've dug them up, or what's that like for you?
Um, so it's different for everybody who's setting the stones around here. For me, the stones that we've found for Rhode Island, I've got a couple that I pulled out the beach that were just beautiful stones. This Shieldness stone is one of those. Um, we have one that we found in the place that it is, which is the Squantum Tooth. I would not be able to move that one anywhere because it's so unwieldy. And two of our Rhode Island stones are actually Facebook Marketplace finds: the Sabin
Okay.
stone and the leg biter the Nemesis stone. Um, yeah, found those on Facebook Marketplace. The lady was like, "Somebody come get these stones," and we are like, "How heavy are they?" And she's like, "I think they're about 100 pounds," and sent us a photo of her kid standing next to him, and we're like, that does absolutely nothing for us. But it turns out that the Sabin stone was like a perfect stone, and Legbiter is just a bastard of a stone. So Legbiter is still in my yard. We have Sabin stone down at Sabin Point, and uh, I will be moving Legbiter at some point probably, but I kind of like having it there. Tom War Yoga down in Connecticut, he's like a truffle pig for stones, and everywhere he goes he finds like 50. We were on the tour, and while we were on the tour he found more stones and set them up. So I'm cutting the video right now of it, and one of the stones that we were at, the Paugussett Brave, which is in this park called Indian Wells State Park. It's a native sacred site, and the story is basically like a separated love. Like a brave Paugussett Brave fell in love with a maiden from another tribe, and their love was, you know, not fated to be, basically. So while everybody's lifting the Paugussett Brave, I have video of Tom just in the background, just digging into the dirt, like throwing stones out of the way. He comes up with this like perfect littler one, and he brings it across the river, and he's like, "It's the maiden, it's the maiden," and he like places it beside it. So now we have a heavier stone and a lighter stone
Awesome.
for that location. But he did that. He keeps doing that. Like he's just somebody who goes out and just sees a stone and just is like that one, and it's right there, and that's where they stay.
Cool.
In New Hampshire at Fort 4, the people who run Fort 4 also run quarries in the area. So I basically told them I want stones in this range, and they found me like 200 stones, weighed them, wrote the weights on everything, brought them over to the site, and we're like, take your pick. And we found this really beautiful like white quartzite stone. It's about 236 pounds, and that became the Fort 4 stone. So it's different wherever we go in New England, but we have so much stone here that you can find it anywhere.
Shout out to Tom. You sent me a sneak peek of the video from the tour, and his backyard is like the coolest backyard I've ever seen in my life. If that entire like landscape is his backyard, he's doing well. He's doing well. He had a big circle set up and like a mound and like looked intense.
Yeah, so Tom's actually like he's like a world traveling strength athlete, trainer, writer, historian guy.
Yeah.
He's actually in Pakistan right now. Like
wild. Yeah.
Like cool. training and learning a bunch of stuff. And he really took to stone lifting pretty hard when he got involved in it. I keep making the joke that eventually it's just going to be Tom's Connecticut stone lifting circuit and some other New England states stone lifting. like he's just going to have like 500 stones in Connecticut.
Yeah, right on.
And the rest of us are going to have like a half dozen in each place. But it's awesome. I totally love it.
Yeah, he seems like a fascinating guy. I've had a few conversations with him just back and forth, and yeah, he seems like a very, very knowledgeable, very kind, very smart guy.
Yeah.
Someone who
I agree.
really
Don't let him know that I told you that.
Oh, yeah,
he might hear this. But he seems like someone who's just fascinated by historic strength practices. So stone lifting is right up his alley, that's for sure.
Very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Totally.
So you guys just finished the first full tour of the New England Stonelifting circuit.
Yep.
How many people, how many days, how did that all get set up?
So that was 4 days, 5 out of the 6 states, over 30 stones. And on the first day we had 14 people. The second day we had about 14 people. Third day we had 8 people, and fourth day we had 6 people, because the third and fourth days were Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So not everybody can take time off work.
Yeah.
It got set up because John, Travel Lift Stones Repeat there, was like, oh, I really want to come out to New England and lift every single one of your stones. Can we do that? And I was like, yeah, of course, dude. Like, come on out. We'll have a blast.
No half measures with that one, hey?
No, not at all. Dude, I actually had to like tell everybody, this is all the stones that we're doing for this tour. Any new ones that you find, we can't add in. Like it's going to become impossible. So John decided to come out, and then a dude that he's training, Charlie, from California, who's a brewer for Run and Fermentation Project. I'm drinking his beer right now.
Nice.
He came out too. So we had a really seasoned lifter and a relative newbie, as well as all of us from New England. And we basically threw a 4-day party. It was fantastic. We had just an amazing time, and we did about 1,000 miles in 4 days. In 4 days.
Oh boy, 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And in typical New England fashion, we had every single season. Like we were in Connecticut and it was like hot and sunny. Then we came to Rhode Island and it was pretty sunny still. And then it got rainy and then it got snowy and then it went back to being sort of like fallish. Like it was awesome. The footage that I got looks so gorgeous and I can't wait to finish editing it. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to this being like an actual video.
Yeah,
It's
so wait.
killing me not to be. It's killing me not to put it all on Instagram right now, but I want some surprises.
Yeah, you're gonna load it up to YouTube obviously when it's completed.
Yeah, my plan is I'm aiming for an end of May release of the video. I'm gonna put it up for like donation sale, sort of, for a while to see if I can basically recoup the cost on the like the cameras and shit that I bought.
For sure.
But eventually it'll go up on YouTube, and I'm gonna release a bunch of clips on Instagram and stuff, and we're gonna have like a release party at our local brewery that I do some work for at Narragansett Beer, and I think Charlie's gonna have a showing it out in California, and Maximum Iron's gonna like do some stuff with it too. So
Oh man, that's awesome.
it's turning out to be a little big. It's kind of cool.
That's so cool. That's very cool. What kind of camera did you buy out of curiosity?
I bought one of the DJI Pocket 3s.
Okay.
Like it's like a gimbal camera.
Yeah, I
It's
think I know
like
what you're talking about. It's like a longer
it's
one.
super good. Yeah, it's this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And you're quite happy with the quality on it?
The quality is amazing.
Cool. Yeah. Very.
It's I have a very good friend who's like a professional videographer, and he was like, if you're shooting stuff, that's the camera you want.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. And he was right. Like, we've got some footage of us in the snow at Fort 4, and it's just these giant white flakes against this gray background. And I shot it super high frame rate so I can slow it down to slow motion. It just looks so cool.
Yeah.
It just looks so rad.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited to see this. Can't wait for it to come
Yeah.
out. Any stone footage is something pretty pumped for because there's not a lot out there, right? You just get clips on Instagram and stuff, but that's not the same as something put together.
Yeah, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, like I'm trying to like cut it in the same way as like a early 2000 skate video, because I really feel like there's the same sort of community, and there's the same sort of sportsmanship behind it. Like the difference is that like skateboarding is a very dynamic moving sport where the camera ends up being very static as you shoot along with the action, whereas stonelifting is a very static sport. Like we're just essentially like lifting things up and down for the most part, so you need the camera to sort of like move around and do cool things. So I've got like 6 weeks of footage that I'm cutting through with different angles and stuff. So I'm trying to make it really dramatic.
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, from what I've seen, it looks awesome. We're definitely looking forward to
Thanks,
that
bud.
product. You'd mentioned
I
earlier
appreciate
too that you'd sort of moved into stone lifting as sort of an arc off of Highland Games because you weren't doing Highland Games at the time, but that has kind of come full circle because now you do. I don't know if you compete, but you do participate. I've seen clan shenanigans, stuff that you put up on Instagram as well. So what is your involvement in the Highland Games now?
This year it's going to be less because we're doing a lot more of the stone lifting stuff, but Steve and I both participate in the Masters class for Highland Games. And we basically have the Highland Games version of New England Stonelifting, which is Clan Shenanigans. Basically a fun, inclusive group within the games. I always like to say we may not come in first, but we're definitely going to come in funst. So we definitely we go there and we just have a lot of fun, and try and keep it lighthearted. It's more direct competition, but the only person I'm competing against in Highland Games is definitely Steve. So long as I beat Steve, I'm pretty happy.
You're that Steve stepping up, man.
So did you have we kind of detoured from your origin story with discussing Scotland, but previous to your involvement in stone lifting, did you have a strength background, or what was your athletic background?
Yeah, because you got a set of legs on you, my friend.
Gosh.
Is that a new development?
I've been weightlifting for about 20 years. I was a skateboarder, rollerblader, rugby player, a bunch of other stuff growing up. I found a lot of like strength sports kind of later than a lot of people. Like I was like 24-ish when I started really lifting weights.
Same here.
But I very quickly found that I really liked heavy shit. So so I basically been doing 5-3-1 programming for like 20 years at this point. And it translated really well into stone lifting. I beat myself up doing contact sports and skating and stuff. I basically gave myself a whole bunch of arthritis and like damage to my knees and legs and things. So I needed something that didn't require me getting hit or falling off of something high.
If you do either of those doing stone lifting, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, totally, right? So like that was basically my background before that. I basically like was just lifting heavy stuff, and I was like, I want to do like competition-y, personal bestie competition stuff. And that's where the Highland Games sort of arc came in. And the stone lifting came off of that.
Awesome. Yeah.
But I think it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing I've done, honestly. Like it's the thing that stuck with me the best.
I hear you.
And it kind of, I mean, it sort of aligns with your heritage as well, McPhee. And I know from the awesome podcast you did with Wolfgar and the Stones, shout out to the Stone Lord podcast. They're putting out fantastic stuff.
Really good.
About the Clack McPhee. Do you want to maybe talk to us briefly about that? Or we can say, if you want to hear a lot about it too, listen to the Stone Lord podcast episode, but just to give people to understand that you did a bit of like a pilgrimage. Thank you. Yeah, pilgrimage to your family's lifting stone.
Yeah, that was actually insane. Em and I were planning our Ireland trip that we just did last year, and again, like when we travel all over the country. So we had planned to be up in Northern Ireland to go see Giant's Causeway and all of that stuff. And as I was planning out the trip, Jamie and David made a post being like, we can't wait to show you this new stone that we found on Isla. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's a beast of a stone, blah, blah, blah. And then the very next day it was like, it's called Clock McPhee. And I was like, shit, we're going to Scotland. So we changed our plans. We were expecting to go the entirety of Ireland. Instead, we just did the top half because of that, because we had to take an extra day just to go to Isla. We had to get on a boat, get to Isla, lift the stone, get back on a boat, and come back, because there was only one boat out and one boat back. So I literally had like 3 hours to do the whole thing. It was just an amazing confluence of events that got us there and allowed me to become the first McPhee in 400 years to lift the stone.
Man, that's the roundest.
How cool is that?
Yeah. I was like, this is like a perfect arc to a stone lifting story. Like, I've been doing this stuff for like 8 years, and now I'm the first McPhee in 400 years. That's really cool. It's like, I can't miss that.
And what other endeavor is there where you can be, have that kind of experience where you're the first person in, your line of ancestors to do something in like half a millennium? Like that's incredible. Like, what a privilege.
Yeah. It blows my mind that it's a thing that you can just go into a field and do. Like, it was just there. Like you drove up and you were like, yeah, that's the stone. That's obviously the stone. There's nothing else that looks like this stone. This is what we're here to do. And it was
Yeah.
just a beast of a stone.
Yeah. How much did that one weigh? I remember it being huge.
422 pounds, I think. 400. It's 4+.
Yeah.
It's giant.
Strong genetics there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's very strong.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Dude, and the story's awesome too. The story is basically a man named Neil Coulthart found the story, and the story is basically a man from Collinsy came to the harbor, parked his boat in the harbor of Isla, came ashore and started challenging the locals to stone lifting competitions and sword fights.
Yes.
Eventually he like fucked off, and his stone remained, and it became a testing stone for the locals. And it persisted for a bunch of years and was lost to time. and it's just written.
Just some shit to Herbert.
Yeah, no
you want a
kidding.
sword fight or stone left? Take your pick.
Yeah. And the dude's name is Dubeltak McPhee. And he actually became a bodyguard for a big Irish lord. And there's a company called Pike and Shot, I think it's called, that does like historical like role-playing game figure sets.
Yeah.
And they still make the Dubeltak McPhee figure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a king and I was interviewing bodyguards and a guy rolled up and like, what's your resume? Well, I was on Isla last week challenging people to sword fights and stone lifting. I'd be like, all right, man, sign up here.
Yeah, you're my right-hand man. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
We kind of had a mini version of that though on our trip, because our dad is both Nisbet, which is our last name, and Dewar. And the Dewars were Seps under Clan Menzies. And so the Castle Menzies stone is just down the road from the Dewars distillery. And I didn't realize till afterwards. It's funny because Dewar actually means a pilgrim, and we were there doing a pilgrimage. And we found out after the fact, because I didn't know about the Sep system. So basically my understanding is that if there was clans basically with not enough people to form a large enough stable clan, that they would be Seps under bigger ones. So the Dewars were Seps under Menzies clan. And we went and lifted the Castle Menzies stone, and then went to the Dewars distillery afterwards. So kind of found that out after the fact. It means a lot more now. That was our very last stone of the trip. We got a picture in front of the Menzies castle with our parents, and yeah, turned out to be quite a cool thing in retrospect. Wish we'd known that at the time. I wish we'd done more research, but still pretty neat.
That's fantastic. Like this is something I love about stone lifting, is being able to find those like direct historical stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, Dale, like what other thing can you do where you're lifting something directly tied to your family? How, like, there's no analog to it in any other strength sport or sport, really.
No, nothing has the permanence of a stone, right? But
yeah,
I think that kind of does feed into another topic of conversation, is that, stones are, they endure, but if they are not treated appropriately, they won't. And then in, 400 years, someone doesn't get to be the first McPhee to lift leg biter in a, you know what I mean? And so how has that been, managing the growth of New England Stonelifting, the attention it's getting, the new community members, in both wanting to make sure that people have a rewarding experience to lift stones, but making sure they're doing so safely and respectfully?
So we definitely try to lead by example. Where if you're on a tour with us, you're gonna know how to lift something safely and respectfully. We obviously can't like adjudicate people coming and doing it themselves.
Yeah.
But if you're with us, we're gonna show you how to do it. If people are going to shoulder, we've got crash pads. If people are just going to chest, we make sure everybody puts stuff down easily. It's something we're all going to have to model. It's basically all you can do. You can just lead by example and hope people pick up on what you're doing.
Yeah, no, that's that's fair. That's kind of, I mean, it's one of the things we talked about before, in that, as stonelifting gets more eyes in the broader social media, landscape, is trying to lead by example, but also make sure that people do understand that there is a distinction between historical stones and modern stones. So when they see David lifting a stone and dropping it onto soft ground in the granite garden where we lift, that's not him trying to represent how you need to be lifting if you went and were to shoulder, let's say, the inverse stone, right? They're very different things. One is a strength implement, one is a strength artifact. And so I think it's just, you're relying on people to be able to discern those things. And maybe in the future comes to a time when we need to put disclaimers saying, in the text, training stone or modern stone or historical stone, to help with that distinction. But
you gotta read the ground too, right? Like if there is anything underneath, we're not dropping our stones onto another stone, but where we're at, like it's either some of the stuff is in beds from under pine trees, so it's super soft, or it's in shale that after rain there's standing water and it's like boggy almost, like it's actually silt.
Silt. As a geologist, I have to make the distinction. Shale is lithified. Silt is not. Sorry.
There we go. Sorry, it's silt.
Thank you. There we go.
And there's a very big difference. You gotta read the play, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
100%. Yeah, you definitely have to read the land. You definitely have to understand the stone, understand the context that you're lifting in, and that nuance is not something that we can necessarily easily explain over the internet. Like it definitely has to be like in-person conversations with people, or long extended conversations like we're having now. It's stonelifting is so unique in that we are lifting historical artifacts. These are things that in other contexts would be in a museum and unavailable to people to lift or to touch. And the fact that we're allowed to go onto these properties and go onto these pilgrimages and do this stuff is something that we should really internalize and try and keep it for future generations.
Yeah, and it's also the privilege to touch, these strength relics, but it's also in many cases the privilege to access somebody's own property and lift. And so it's the respecting of the stones, but also respecting the landowner, the land, that access you've been granted, and understanding that door could immediately be closed to all future lifters if someone had, a negative experience with, which has happened, and we talked about at length with Jamie Gorian. But I think even with New England Stonelifting, right? If someone's coming to lift in Tom's yard, understand that that's his residence, right? Like be respectful, treat yourself as a guest, right? You're a guest in his place, so he'll throat punch you.
Yeah, he definitely would do that. He's a brutally violent man. Whose rage knows no bounds. Like I was saying about the Inverstone, like I was so anxious about that lift because I was going to somebody's house and going onto their property and asking for permission to lift a stone in their yard and trying to be respectful of it. And every time I go to lift a stone, I kind of think about that, right? I kind of think about like how deeply that affected me, and the stuff that we're doing has the possibility of being that deeply affecting to other people in the future.
Yeah.
Like with our stuff over here in America, on the American continent, we're really creating future history. So the way that we shape that is the way that it's going to be treated for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Or as long as we can influence it.
And for things like that, I mean, being able to go in and, like, for example, to Jarett Cottage to sign the logbook, like it's all part of the ritual. And it was actually pretty cool. Just over a month ago, Jamie Gorian was at Jarett Cottage and he was flipping through the book and he saw our names and our parents' names in the logbook and sent me a photo. And it's just like, what a cool thing to be like, oh, like, you've sort of documented your participation in the strength ritual of that stone. So.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, like that really interesting unbroken line of that type of stuff. It's such a it's such a cool and unique opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a bit about your involvement in Highland Games, but that has sort of, I mean, you have the New England Stonelifting community, but you guys have sort of interwoven more broadly with the Highland Games community. You do stonelifting events and seminars at Highland Games events. How did your relationship start with Josh from No Fame Games?
Our relationship with Josh started because we went to a No Fame Games, and we're like, so we can just do this Highland Games. This is the first one that we were allowed to just do without having previously done a Highland Games in New England. So we just went there and then like tried to make ourselves useful. We tried to. Steve and I were just like, what do you need help setting up? What do you need help moving? Like what can we do? How can we learn more about this? And just by being present and being helpful, we sort of found ourselves doing more and more stuff with them. And when New England Stonelifting became codified and became like an actual thing, we found ourselves sort of helping with all the stonelifting stuff. We're actually helping with a like a training class in 15 days, 2 weeks, April 26th. This will probably be out, I'm assuming, after that.
Yeah.
But we're doing a training day in Milford, along with backhold wrestling, Highland Games, and stonelifting. And I think we're doing Moss wrestling too.
It's like with the stonelifting and the backhold wrestling and the Moss wrestling. I know that there's an event coming up on June 21st, the home games, which is like an overall celebration of Celtic strength. Do you want me to talk a bit about that event?
Yeah, I'm actually super excited about that one. It's turning into a gigantic stonelifting party. I'm really excited about it because we have David coming over from Ireland, Martin's coming over from Scotland, Sean Urquhart's coming out from the Midwest. Charlie, who was just here on tour with us, is coming back out from California. And I hear there might be some other people coming too.
Yeah, man, we wanted to go so bad, but we're going to be in Iceland, and unfortunately, yeah, that would have been sweet. I mean, if only there was a flight that flew out from Reykjavik at 3:45 p.m. and landed in Boston at 5:50 p.m. on the Friday, that we could make it down for the Saturday. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Let's do it.
We will see you guys
That
at
would
the
be
home
pretty awesome.
games. Yeah, we'll be
Yes.
there, man. We're excited.
Dude, I can't wait for you guys to come out here. Um, that's gonna be fantastic. We're gonna have a hell of a party.
Yeah.
We're bringing the Lundstrom stones are coming down. The walking stones
Cool.
are coming down. We're hoping to see a bunch of people set some records with them. The Lundstrom lift, which is just an outrageous stone. It is a one-handed lift that's 422 pounds with a ring.
Yeah.
It's lifted for time, but if you can get it off the ground, it's pretty.
Pretty cool.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're gonna have the Huckleberry Stone's gonna be there. I believe I'm bringing the Sabin Stone. I might bring Legbiter up, but I might just convince everybody to come down to Providence and give it a shot because we're only about 45 minutes away, so it's not that big a drive. We're gonna have some other stones as well. I believe Josh is bringing a couple of the other ones, the Lingonberry and Sideshow Bob. We're going to be there, and we'll probably have a couple other stones specifically set for home games. I'm not sure what the hell's going to happen, but I just know it's going to be a blast.
See, I hope we got some juice in the tank left after ice.
Oh, you'll be good. I think getting in and amongst some of those other people, those lifters, like, how can you fail?
Dude, I honestly, that's one of my favorite things, and that's exactly why we did the Stone Tour just recently. Like, everybody succeeded so much more than they thought they would because they were surrounded by people who were so excited to be there.
Plus 20 in strength. It's plus 20 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Like I actually got my best lift on Legbiter on the trip because John went and hit it, and then my buddy Tyler went and hit it, and I was like, God damn it, I can't I can't let them come to my house and not lift this damn stone.
In your backyard. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just like I went and hit it and like held it for a super long time and then put it down. Um,
Nemesis conquered.
yeah, dude, I feel like all that juju, all that bad stuff just got pushed away from that day. Um, but yeah, like there's no way, even if you're tired, that you're not gonna do fantastic. Like you're gonna have a blast.
I mean, in what other circumstances ever are the entire New England Stonelifting crew going to be lifting in the same place as Sean Urquhart, and Bill Crawford is going to be there, and Stevie Shanks and Martin Jansix? Like it's just going to be a gathering for the ages, and something just to sort of it harkens back to the discussion of how important community is. So it's Dave's 40th birthday this year, and Iceland has always been in his sights for the trip to do for his 40th birthday. And when we were talking timelines and the discussion of home games came up, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? And I mean, what it meant was truncating that Iceland trip and carving days off. And David was like, absolutely, we are doing that. He was willing to forego some of these Icelandic stones so we could come and join in this massive celebration. So it's just, yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Honestly, we cannot wait. Like looking forward to that equally as much as looking forward to Iceland. So
I feel incredibly honored that you're cutting your Iceland trip short to come lift a few stones in New England with us.
Yeah,
it's
great to meet
going to be a blast, homie.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. Maybe you guys can do a live podcast from home games.
We'll have to figure something out.
I don't know. Yeah,
a stone round table.
That could be something like that. Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. We need a shirt. We need to get a shirt so everyone can sign it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I definitely want one of your shirts.
Cool. We can send stuff over, man. Yeah.
Sick.
That's no problem.
Sick.
Yeah.
And I'll send some stuff to you guys too.
All right.
It's awesome. There's been like this global shirt exchange happening. Like Highland Wolf Strength, John Gibb just sent us a couple of his shirts and they're awesome. He got a couple of the Edmonton Stone Strength shirts. It's sweet.
Awesome.
It's good fun.
Yeah. So what is like, so with home games and this affiliation with No Fin Games, they put on all these fantastic events. Like, do you have sort of a rollout of the different kinds of events you want to do in the future? Like, is the New England Stonelifting Tour going to be an annual thing? Are you thinking of doing other kinds of, not competitions, but events?
I honestly haven't thought that far. This last tour was such a huge undertaking. Like I'd love to do it again. Like it was fantastic, but it's definitely a huge time commitment. If I can figure out a way to make it so like I can afford to do it, I'm definitely going to do it. But there'll probably be a lot of smaller tours. And one of the things that I love about our community is we've got a group chat that I always say is the most active group chat I've ever been part of, called the Meat Market, and it's literally everybody that's been part of a New England Stonelifting event. And right now there's like 4 different things happening in that chat. Like they're going out and looking for stones in Vermont. Some people are like setting some stuff up in Connecticut. Some people are doing some stuff in New Hampshire. Like there's all these things happening. So it's not just me, which makes me very happy because there's no way that I could handle all of that stuff. But it's great. Like New England Stonelifting could be doing a million different things. Like it's all up to the community. But like things we definitely have planned this year, we have home games. We're going to be at the Maine Highland Games as well, which is 2 days in August 16th and 17th. It's the World Championship Highland Games for men.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing some stuff up there too. And I think we're probably going to have at least one more kind of group trip. And then just weekend days. And it's basically, if people get in touch with us and are like, hey, we want to do something, everybody just is like, yeah, let's go do that. But
That's awesome.
We haven't really thought about events.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was going to say, it sounds like your hands are full the way it is.
Yeah.
Would you have ever been able to fathom when you and Steve started England Stonelifting 4 years ago, like what that could have turned into?
When we codified it, yeah, I kind of had an idea that it wouldn't be super small. I kind of have a habit of building communities and trying to like bring people together and trying to like make groups. Like I thrive in it. I really enjoy it, and I like designing stuff for that type of stuff. I used to have um, a group that I did motorcycle trips with, where we would do like 1,500, 2,000 miles in a weekend, in a week or something like that, through the mountains of Vermont and all over the place. And it's cool because now I get to revisit them. So I knew that sort of that was coming. Um, plus, like I just get to like make stickers and design T-shirts and like just
Creative
flex
outlet,
those
right?
muscles
That's awesome.
too. Yeah, it's a great creative outlet. And whenever you have like a cohesive identity,
Mhm.
it automatically makes people feel like it's more real and want to be more part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you of all people have found an awesome way where you can take this, you know, I don't call it a pastime of stone lifting, but this activity of stone lifting, but been able to have that bleed into, creating other hobbies for you, right? So now you're doing the videography, you're doing t-shirt design and logo design and stickers, and you're doing the spreads for the Instagram page. Like it has kind of become an all-encompassing thing for you.
Yeah. So I'm actually a designer by trade.
Hmm.
Like I've been working in design since like '98. I got a job right out of high school with a local newspaper, and I've just been making flyers, making shirts, making stuff for my entire life. So it's a very logical extension of what I do. But recently, I was laid off from my corporate job, and it gave me a lot more time.
Yeah.
So I kind of leaned in, and I'm trying to make the freelance thing work. So I'm trying to increase my skills by doing the videography. I'm trying to like get better at a larger subset of things. Um, I'm already really proficient in like static content, like logos, branding,
Mhm.
the visual aspects of it. But moving into the motion aspects of it, it's a whole other ball of wax that I've never really played in. So I'm super excited to have a thing that I can use as an outlet.
Yeah. You kind of sharpen your teeth and build your CV doing something you love. So
Exactly.
that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Right on.
Yeah.
I guess what about with the training side of things, because you have put out a stone lifting program, a free stone lifting program with a hilarious promo video, might I add. If anyone is interested, what does your programming look like? What are the key exercises that you think are critical in being able to build stone lifting strength in the gym?
So like I said, I've been running 5-through-1 for pretty much my entire career.
Just
I think
that just for anyone who may not be familiar with that.
so 5-through-1 is a program by Jim Wendler. It's uh, it's the big four. It's squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. Each one of those gets a single day of the week of your training, and it's broken into sort of like 4-week waves where you do increasing intensity, decreasing reps.
Mm.
Um, and you use so the first week you do 3 sets of 5 reps with the third set of 5+ reps. Then the second week you do 3 sets of 3 reps with the third set 3+, and then the third week you do 5-3-1+. And the percentages are based off of a training max, and the percentages go up as you go through the weeks. I usually use the last set as an AMRAP, and I'm aiming for anywhere from 10 to 15 reps on that last set at the highest percentage, because I keep my training max low.
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like I can squat like 615 ish is about my max, and in my training max I keep it about 450. So I keep it lower than a lot of people would keep it, but it allows me to still gain strength and have enough in the tank to do that AMRAP at the end and go for like a shitload of reps. So that's the bigs movements are that in the stone lifting program, basically. And then any accessory work that you want to do, like basic, curls, press, like all the basic fun like gym bro stuff. And then a bunch of like stone specific stuff gets worked in. Um, heavy kettlebell swings with a band around your waist for outrageous number of reps, basically like 3 sets of AMRAP with the heaviest kettlebell you can find. That's one that I got from Urquhart, and it is fantastic.
Or use an Atlas stone, right?
That's what I like.
Yeah, or use an Atlas stone.
Yeah, brutal, man.
Yeah, it's insane to use something that heavy with the momentum of a swing. My absolute favorite exercise that I do for stone lifting is the squat morning. I actually found out that I've been doing those since January 2nd, 2018 is the first time it's in one of my one of my log books. So I've been doing those for like what's that, 6 years, something like that. And basically you do a good morning into a squat, back into a good morning, and then stand up. So it simulates a stone lift the entire way through. It is brutal. And if you can do a bunch of them, you're doing pretty good. It definitely increases your back strength and lower back strength and gets you through a lot of sticking points.
Yeah.
And then I like to do a lot of simulated stone lifts in the gym because it allows me to work on the movement and not worry about the intricacies of the individual stones. And that way you can run basically 5-3-1 on the plate picks too. It just basically making things so you don't have to worry about as many variables, and then just going out into the field and lifting whatever stones you want to lift.
Yeah.
And it seems to work.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. I should show you guys this hot little piece of tech here that David showed me. Sorry for those of you who are listening. Now you got to go watch the YouTube video. But this is just a plate jack that's used for like a deck or something like that.
You can get scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
Yeah.
And you can get them at any major hardware center for like $30. You can plate load this bad boy. You can do flat disc deadlifts. You can do bear hug deadlifts. I also use it for doing wrist work as well. So pick this up. And I think this is just something I wanted to sort of use to lead into the conversation, that because the actual lifting of stones is so variable, because every stone is so variable, it allows people to get really creative with their training. Have there been any like creative tools or techniques or methods that you found that have carried really well over into stone lifting?
I really like the plate loaded deadlifts. Like I do a lot of those where basically the thing that you just pulled out, like that's one of my favorite like in gym things, because you can get those up to like 300, 400 pounds and work on the off the ground. You can work on to the lap. You can work to standing with it. And the only thing that ever bothers me with those plate lifted ones is that the bottom of a loading pin is like that thick. It's like a half-inch thick or something. So when you pick it up and put it into your chest and you're squeezing into your chest, it's like ripping down.
Yeah.
So I've been taping rubber to the bottom of the plates, and that works perfectly. But I think that plate jack that you have, it's actually an even better idea. I'm gonna have to go to my local hardware store and pick one up today.
Essentially, you'll get no discount. So
use code Stones of Strength for no discount.
Get $0 off. Awesome, man. Well, any final questions, Dave?
No, man, thank you very much for your time coming on. You've got a ton of experience from the lifting to the training to starting local strength communities, basically. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I can't wait to meet you in person and get some lifts in,
Yeah,
and hopefully a couple beers.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Where can
Yeah,
people
well,
find you?
we'll have people can find New England Stonelifting on New England Stonelifting on Instagram. Any-sl.com is also a way to get to us. Personally, I'm on Instagram as avastgmatey, and my design concern is a pile of dirt.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Jarett. It's been a pleasure talking to you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I really and truly appreciate the time, and I cannot wait to see you guys in person June 21st in Milford, Mass at Home Days
We'll be there.
by
Be there, man.
No Fame Games.
Awesome.